insightful and exciting lecture. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your remarks. Ladies and gentlemen, now I would like to invite Professor Dr. Thitinan Pongsudhirak, who is a professor and director at Institute of Security and International Studies in Bangkok and a visiting professor at Johns Hopkins. He holds a PhD from London School of Economics, winning the UK's Best Dissertation Prize. His expertise lies in ASEAN and Indo-Pacific geopolitics amid U.S. China competition. He has held visiting positions at leading global universities and serves on several academic journals' editorial boards. Dr. Thitinan has received multiple awards for his
Khalil Mahmood, Ambassador Rongwood, Excellencies, High Commissioners from Malaysia and Brunei, and also Dr. Talat Shabir. Distinguished scholars, ladies and gentlemen, greetings from me from Bangkok. First, I want to thank Ambassador Mahmood, Sohail Mahmood, for a very kind introduction. And I want you to know that he's my favorite former ambassador in Thailand, because he was very active in the various activities that we had, also on the Bangkok scene. So when he left, we missed him a lot, and we kept in touch. And I'm really happy that I could be coming to Pakistan for the first time, this trip for the first time, and then being here today. Thank you very much for hosting me. I'll be, I think it's a short talk, a lot to pack in. I think the agenda says about 3:15 or so that we can end, but I'll try to be concise the next 15-20 minutes on this topic: Southeast Asia, ASEAN, U.S. China. First, I want to talk about U.S. and then a little bit about China and the nature of U.S. China rivalry, competition, conflict, and then I'll talk about ASEAN and Southeast Asia, and they are different, they're distinct. There's Southeast Asia, there's a region, and ASEAN is a regional organization of South Asia. On U.S. and China, I think we have to talk about U.S. first, because it's an everyday news, very dramatic what's happening in the U.S. It's almost amazing what's happening, and a little bit, daily drama. It's been 1 month of President Trump's second term, and every day there's some big news, big order, and big announcement. And for me, in my profession, I have to say that it's a little bit of a perverse joy to follow him, because it's very exciting what's happening in America. Now, it's perverse because it's terrible for the world. So I'll just say about Trump 2 things. First, he has been long time coming. We would be mistaken to focus and be too fixated with Trump. Donald Trump is a manifestation and culmination of a long-term movement that has been percolating in America for 40 years and longer. If you want to find out a bit more about his background, his movement, there's a Trump personality, and there's Trump the movement. He got voted, he won the election resoundingly because of the movement. Now, his personal style, the way that he does things, and his blustery and his temperament and all of that, that's a personal style. But the movement behind him, make no mistake, it's been around for some time. You can go back and look at the Patrick Buchanan, for example, in the 1980s, 1992, Patrick Buchanan. He said many of the things that Trump is doing now. America first, nativism. So Trump is about 2 things. Nativism at home, which means a kind of a promotion of a return to a time in the past in America. And when he says he wants to make America great again, he means it. The Americans feel like they have been disadvantaged. They have lost their glory, their greatness over the recent decades. So to him, I think in his mind, sometime in the 1950s was America's peak, after the Second World War. And somehow there's a harking back, there's a kind of a yearning for a past period when they were at their height, at their greatness. And that's nativism, which means that the kind of a whitish America. You look at the Trump cabinet, maybe a couple of South Asians, but mostly white. Not Southeast Asian, not East Asian, and maybe Alex Wong could be an exception, and no blacks. Now, it's not xenophobic, it's not racist, it's just a kind of a nativist yearning. This is why he's against immigrants, illegal immigrants. Legal immigrants like Trump. They don't like the illegal immigrants. And hence, he's doing this executive order and just everyday drama about kicking people out, expelling them, and to various countries, and we can see that in the news. The other part about him, his second administration, and this is also from the Trump movement, is economic nationalism, protectionism, mercantilism, isolationism. So I say to people that used to dislike, abhor U.S. interventionism abroad. Don't worry, they're not going to intervene now. The U.S. Trump is anti-imperialist. He doesn't want America to be policing the world. And so his focus will be withdrawing American engagement and to focus on the home front. So nativism inside, economic nationalism, protectionism, mercantilism outside. And we can see the manifestations on a daily basis now. Tariffs against a range of countries, all kinds of countries, especially allies. I mean, there's a feeling in America that the U.S. has been ripped off, especially by China, and especially by allies. And so he's turned against Canada, very insulting to Canada, said it's a 51st state, Mexico, and you name it, the near neighborhood. And then he eventually will get to Southeast Asia. But everywhere he turns, it's about economic nationalism. They say it's transactionalism, but in fact, it's reciprocity, it's payback. He wants to be paid back for U.S. shouldering the U.S. kind of benign hegemony, constructing and shouldering the burden of the international order over the last 8 decades. This is why he wants to get his hands on the minerals, critical minerals in Ukraine, thinking that, since they funded Ukraine in hundreds of billions, they want something back. And this has deep and far-reaching ramifications, because when the U.S., as the chief architect and underwriter of the international system, withdraws, it's going to be convulsive and disruptive. And we will see all kinds of disruptions. It will affect all of us. What he's doing with USAID, for example. USAID is about trying to make the world a better place. This is the American idealism. So you can think of that in contrast, making the world a better place and making America great again is in stark contrast. It's not going to be about making a world a better place anymore. It's going to be about making America great again and only. That is really something I'm still digesting. Every day, this is the context I'm working with, I'm looking at, it's a framework. Now, U.S. China, and China is on another trajectory. I see China as of course, it's rising superpower, but this is China's manifest resurgence. If you're familiar with the U.S. manifest destiny, right? The manifest destiny implies two things: that is inevitable, that is entitled. The U.S. was entitled to control its sphere of influence, the Western Hemisphere. And it was inevitable because America was such a great power that it will happen. They're entitled to it. It's inevitable. So now you think China, I see China as a kind of a manifest resurgence because it's going to be great again. So it's really kind of a geostrategy to reclaim the former glory and greatness of China that they used to have. If you look at the Belt and Road map, right? Well, the Maritime Silk Road, the overland economic belt, Silk Road economic belt. These two routes, really, these two roads, roughly